Today I attempted to rebuild my secondary computer, a Z400 workstation, in a Cooler Master masterbox 5. I couldn't reuse its original power supply for reasons I'll explain in a few moments. But since HP uses a proprietary 24-pin connector pinout, I had to mount the replacement unit. Then I disassembled the workstation, the exhaust fan, the RAM shroud, no idea why they use these, and then the motherboard. I noticed that its I/O shield was part of a huge backplate, and since I wanted to keep the shield, I left the board on its plate. Also, thanks to this, I didn't have to create makeshift standoffs. Instead, I secured the assembly in place using bolts and nuts. Since it seemed to work, I proceeded to install my modded PSU as well as my Ubuntu system drive. I then added the fans and plugged the case connectors. The venerable FirePro 2270 was next, and it looked awful, as expected. So DMS59 out, keyboard and mouse, power cord, nothing blew up, it was a good sign. I turned it on, both the power switch and its LED worked. It seemed to post and it spat a bunch of errors at me while reaching max fan speed. Indeed, I thought my craptastic PSU was to blame, so I unplugged it, removed it, and replaced it with the stock Z400 PSU that I had chosen not to use because it was taller than a standard ATX PSU. Two holes almost lined up, so I managed to secure it in place, but the 24-pin connector was too short, so I had to get a mount it on its side, using a random angled piece of metal and a zip tie. Wonderful. Again, power cord, DMS59, keyboard and mouse. Switch it on. Post. And get lost. Since the errors mentioned disconnected headers, I tested again using the case connectors from the original Z400 case, and it worked. I then unplugged all of the connectors except for the front panel, and it worked again. After removing said connector from the Z400 case, I noticed a little black thing on its cable. It was a thermal sensor. So I wired the power switch and LED from the masterbox 5 to the connector with the sensor, and everything worked flawlessly. It was the lack of this sensor that made the fans ramp up. Nothing was overheating. At first, the power LED didn't turn on, but it was easy to fix. Since I can't see the window where it's placed, I think it looks much nicer than the original. I'm glad I did this. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this project as much as I did.